of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, Episode 1. And my first impressions on this episode? Great todaze. No, seriously, this was a great start getting into Part 4 and a great episode. In this episode, we get the return of Part 3 main protagonist and the third Jojo, Jotaro Kujo. And now as an adult, 28 years old, and a marine biologist, which is actually something that I was not expecting Jotaro to get into, but okay, marine biology, why not? Now he is in Morioh or Morioh Town to investigate some strange incidents courtesy of a certain stand user that I will get into later, but also to find the fourth main protagonist, Josuke Higashikata, who happens to be the illegitimate son of Joseph Joestar. So yeah, that makes Josuke Jotaro's uncle. Yeah, when I found out about the affair, I was not all too happy. Apparently, before the events of Stardust Crusaders, Joseph was 62 years old, and he hooked up with this 21-year-old woman back at the time, named Tomoko Higashikata. Again, we don't know the details about the affair, how it happened, and like why it stopped. But let's just say it ended with having Josuke, and Joseph had no idea that he had a son, and the reason why Jotaro found out about it is because, well, he was trying to figure out how to split Joseph's inheritance. And this caused some chaos in the family. Susie Q, Joseph's wife, wasn't all too happy about it. In fact, according to Jotaro, she was very pissed off, and frankly, I don't blame her, especially since she and Joseph were married for over 60 years. And yet, a 62-year-old Joseph was able to get it on with a 20-something-year-old woman. Yeah, there's a reason why people call Joseph the foxy grandpa, but seriously, Susie Q has every right to be angry with him, and whatever she does to Joseph out of her anger, he deserved it. He had it coming. Jotaro accidentally bumps into Koichi Hirose, who's going to be a supporting character in the main cast in Part 4. They were at the bus stop, which coincidentally Josuke was there, trying to overcome his fear of this one turtle in this fountain which he was trying to touch. Yeah, Josuke is afraid of turtles, especially reptiles, which I thought was kind of funny. And he got into this, like, some serious trouble with these older high school students. And I don't know why. I guess apparently he forgot to greet his senpais nicely, like how Koichi did it with those high school students. Yeah, Josuke and Koichi were starting high school, which makes them, I'd say, around 15, 16 years old, around that age. Yeah, Koichi's very short, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, seriously, when he bumped into Jotaro, it looked like he bumped into his crotch. That's gotta be very awkward. It looked like that Josuke was going to have a fight, at least sooner than I thought it was gonna happen. But no, he didn't really, especially when that one high school student slapped him in the face. I guess he didn't want to like cause any more trouble than he was already in. And the high school student, these guys were a bunch of bullies. They even like grabbed the turtle and just flung it at this like nearby post and hurting it. Not even 5 minutes in and we already got ourselves an animal getting hurt. But luckily the turtle does end up okay thanks to Josuke's stand, which I will get to that later. But things started to get really bad because one of the high school students was an idiot calling Josuke's hairstyle Astro Boy hair. Yeah, we got an Astro Boy reference and it was an insult on Josuke's hair. Now, one thing to know about Josuke. You do not want to insult his hairstyle. You don't want to call it ugly. You do not want to call it stupid. Because if you do, he'll get pissed off and he'll beat the ever-living crap out of anyone who does this. Hey, senpai, what did you just say about my hair? And this led to this really cool scene where you get a brief glimpse of Crazy Diamond, only his arm. And Crazy Diamond punches the high school student in the face so hard, he knocks a tooth out, he knocks out his nose ring, there's blood everywhere, broke his nose. But his stand, Crazy Diamond, has this repairing ability, which basically, according to Jotaro, it has the ability to fix something or someone that's broken. And it can like leave it to its original state, or alter it in its own way, shape, and form. Like how he altered that high school student's face. It was healed, but it was altered to the point where it looked like he had a pig's nose. So he can technically change the form into anything he wants during the fixing process, which is actually a pretty neat ability in terms of combat and non-combat, because he was able to heal that turtle with his stand. Yeah, Crazy Diamond can technically repair objects and heal stuff by punching, which is awesome. Well, anyway, now that Jotaro knows that that student was Josuke Higashikata, they eventually meet, and he basically lays all this info dump on Joseph, on that he's Joseph's son, and that Jotaro is his nephew, and Josuke takes this very well. Surprisingly very well, because like after when he was finished talking, Josuke was like, "Oh, nephew, huh? Oh, nice to meet you." So eventually, Jotaro and Josuke go somewhere more private to talk, and Koichi tags along as well. I don't know why. I guess he's very curious. And before they could even like talk anymore, you know, about Joseph and about his inheritance, they meet a couple of people who Jotaro despises the most, and that is fangirls. Oh no! Yeah, I guess some things never change with Jotaro, because seriously, when the Josuke's fangirls like come up to him and, you know, try to flirt with him, he got this really annoyed look on his face, and I bet he was thinking, "Oh God, fangirls, why?" I bet he was like thinking back to his old high school days when like his fan group was like tagging along with him. In fact, I think these girls are actually a bit more forward than the fangirls back in the 80s, you know? But that's probably just me. Unfortunately, this kind of leads to a bit of a misunderstanding, because Jotaro tells Josuke to like get these girls to go away, and then he says, "Hey, have your stupid talk about hair later." Yeah, that caused Josuke to get really pissed off, and he tries to attack his nephew. Yeah, great job, Jotaro. But in all seriousness, technically he was not insulting his hairstyle. He was just saying that the girls talking about Josuke was stupid. Not the hairstyle, just the girls talking about him was stupid. But Josuke, I mean, again, once you insult his hairstyle, he'll like get really pissed off and try to beat the crap out of you, because he was in this like rage mode where he cannot listen within reason, because even when Jotaro was explaining to him about stands, Josuke was like not listening. He was like, "You insulted my hair, I'm gonna kick your ass," you know? Which, by the way, we actually get to see Star Platinum again, which looks really cool. I still gotta get used to the coloring. It's all blue now. But aside from that, it was cool seeing Star Platinum again. And we even get a brief little fight between Star Platinum and Crazy Diamond, which we finally see in full form, and it looks awesome. It apparently has the strength and speed like Star Platinum, and even has the power, yet it still has the appearance of the world. There are similar appearances between the world and Crazy Diamond. And it seemed like Crazy Diamond was like going on par with Star Platinum, and the fight, even though it was brief, Jotaro did win only because he used his new ability, the time stop. He stopped time for like half a second, and he managed to like literally knock some sense into Josuke by punching him. Yeah, I guess that's what you'd call uncle-nephew bonding. I don't know. But even though Jotaro was able to stop time for like half a second, his hat was still torn by Crazy Diamond's punch, and it was repaired, but it was like altered in this like weird looking shape. And the fangirls freaked out, and then Jotaro just yells at them saying, "Yakamashi!" like he always does with people who annoy him. Even as an adult, things never changed. And even though he yelled at them, the girls were like, "Hi," and they just leave. One of them even says that Jotaro looks kind of hot. First of all, no. Girl, no. Like, you stay away. First of all, he's like 10 years older than you. and I'm pretty sure he's married. And if I remember the timeline correctly, he has a daughter. He has a daughter, so no, stay away. God freaking damn it! Like even after Stardust Crusaders, there's gonna be like fangirls that have the hots for him. Like what the hell? Josuke calms down, and I guess they're cool after their fight. And Jotaro finally manages to warn him and even Koichi about this very dangerous criminal and stand user named Angelo Katagiri, aka Angelo. And he does have photos of him and what looks like to be this like mist thing with a face, which is Angelo's stand, which technically isn't really mist, but it's more like water, but I'll get to that more later. Anyway, there were spirit photos taken from Joseph's Hermit Purple, and he warns them to stay away from Angelo. And we even get to learn more about Angelo according to Jotaro. He's a freaking psychopath. He is a murderer, a thief, a rapist, and he's committed so many crimes. In fact, at the age of 12, he committed his first crime of robbery and rape at 12 years old. Like seriously, like what the fuck is wrong with this guy? We don't even know like how fucked up in the head he really is. We don't even know why. Like what about his parents? Like his parents are doing a really crappy job raising him. And this is the first of his so many terrible crimes. Of his many murders and rapes and thefts. In fact, his last crime was so vile, they don't even like talk about it. I was kind of hoping that we were gonna get some details of like how bad his last crime was, but there was like a part of me that was like, you know what, I don't want to know, never mind. Anyway, this last crime was so bad that he got the death sentence and was hanged, but he survived. And shortly afterwards, he escaped and now he's on the run in Morioh. So, according to Jotaro, he recently became a stand user before his execution, which is why he survived from getting hanged. We then get to see Josuke's mother, Tomoko Higashikata, and the police officer that I saw from the second key visual, which apparently is Josuke's grandfather. And I gotta say, Tomoko, she's awesome, you know? I hate the fact that she got into an affair with Joseph. That's the one thing I don't like about her. But aside from that, everything else about her, she seems pretty cool. Because this one guy was trying to like hit on her, and then she gets pissed off, just grabs the guy's head, and then just slams it onto the car door and window, hurting him, which I thought was really cool. So you know what? Tomoko was awesome in my books. And you know what? It's been a while since I've seen a really cool female character in JoJo. I think the last time I saw someone like that was Mariah, stand user for Bastet. I don't know if she knew that Joseph was Josuke's father. Maybe she didn't know. I don't know. Again, they don't go into details about the whole affair. But, you know, despite Joseph not being a part of Josuke's life, even though he, you know, to be fair, he didn't know that he had a son, she did a good job raising Josuke. At least she had her father to help him out. And I think the grandfather is technically Josuke's only father figure that he had in his life. Which is gonna really suck because I know that from the final trailer he's gonna die. So yeah, it's gonna really suck that he's gonna die. Or maybe he'll get severely injured. I don't know. But then again, this is JoJo. And you know, JoJo has a tendency to kill off characters I really like. So, yeah, I'm probably not gonna get my hopes up on that one. I'm gonna feel bad for Josuke, though. Anyway, after that scene, we see this one couple bump into Angelo. Angelo was there, actually, like, right across the street from Tomoko and Josuke's grandfather, coincidentally. So, yeah, things don't go so well for the couple. We don't really see what Angelo does to them, but it was revealed later on that his stand is this water stand that has this form of this like water demon creature thing with eyes all over its body. It has the ability to possess people by going into their bodies through the mouth, and he possesses that one guy with his stand, and then he rapes and murders his girlfriend. We don't actually see it happen, but we do see her body in the woods, so yeah, you can definitely tell what Angelo did to her, which is really messed up. Koichi and Josuke started to become good friends, which I actually thought was really nice. They walk home from school, And then they hear this commotion that's going on in this convenience store. There was this hostage situation where the guy that Angelo possessed has this woman who works at the convenience store as a hostage, and things weren't going so well. And then, God damn it! I mean, this is so gonna be a thing in part 4. The possessed guy, insults Josuke's hairstyle, calling it stupid when he's trying to get everyone out of the way from the car. He gets pissed off, and his stand aura erupts. He just has real anger face. He just walks up to the guy, like he doesn't even give a shit about the commotion that's been going on, despite it being a hostage situation. He just goes up to them, and then he just, okay, it's freaking cool, but I'm like, Josuke, this is really dangerous. I mean, despite the warnings he got from Jotaro, he was in rage mode. He couldn't think straight. And it was a good thing that that woman ended up okay at the end, because otherwise, I mean, things could have gotten a lot worse. I'm just saying. But, you know, after that insult on his hairstyle, the possessed man gets really angry and then tries to stab the convenience store worker. Josuke summons Crazy Diamond and does something that I thought was awesome yet brutal at the same time. Crazy Diamond punches through not only the possessed guy, but also the woman. It was pretty messed up, but good thing that Crazy Diamond has this healing ability. And he was able to grab the knife, by the way, through their bodies. He pulls his arm back, and their bodies were healed. But the knife was left lodged inside the guy's stomach. And that was enough for him to, like, I guess, like, pass out or like, freaking out or something. Because he gets caught by the police. And this is just... That scene was awesome, but it was so brutal. Goddamn Crazy Diamond. Fucking badass stand. And, yeah, I'm aware that Crunchyroll calls it Shining Diamond because, you know, like, copyright bullshit, but I don't give a crap about it. It's Crazy Diamond. Angelo's stand escapes, and Angelo was communicating through his stand, threatening Josuke, saying that he'll be watching him and that he wasn't aware that there were other stand users. He gets away into the sewer, and then Josuke gets, I guess he gets tackled by the police. Oh man, like, this is like the first episode, and already some crazy shit went down. And then cut to the next day, and Josuke and Jotaro are planning to meet up again. And unfortunately, I think they picked the wrong time because that leaves Tomoko alone at home. And Angelo is there, disguised as the milkman. Which explains the overalls and the hat. Disguised as the milkman outside the Higashikata residence. And apparently he already knew where Josuke lived. And he knows about Tomoko and he plans to rape her. Oh boy, I really hope he doesn't rape Josuke's mom. Yeah, that was where the episode ends. Fucking cliffhangers, man. I can't believe I gotta wait a week to see what happens next. That was episode 1 of Diamond is Unbreakable. Overall, this was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. And it was a really good start to part 4. There were some parts that did bug me though. First of all, how was Angelo's stand, which by the way, we don't even know its name yet, how did it, like, help Angelo survive from, you know, getting hanged? Like, it doesn't seem like the stand, a kind of stand that would, like help him survive, you know? Especially getting hanged by the neck. I mean, it's like a combination of Undul stand Geb and Kakyoin stand Hierophant Green. But then again, not only do we not know its name, but we don't know its entire moveset, like what else it can do. So maybe we'll learn more about it in next week's episode. Another thing that bugged me is, like, when Jotaro was, like, you know, giving us all this information about Josuke. According to him, like, during the events of Star Wars Crusaders, 1987, yeah, when he was like 4 years old, he got sick, just like Holly was, because Holly's stand was killing her, giving her this illness for 50 days. Same thing with Josuke, yet when Dio was killed, he was cured, and he still has his stand. Holly, on the other hand, I don't think she has her stand, or maybe she does. Maybe she does, but no, because, like, you have to, like, fully control your stand if you have this, like, fighting spirit. So that would mean that Josuke doesn't have this fighting spirit himself. Or maybe he does, but it just doesn't happen until later on. I'm not sure. It's just like, if Holly was able to survive and doesn't have like her stand, then how come Josuke was able to survive and, you know, keep his stand? Because wouldn't that mean that his stand was killing him? Like, this is something that really did bug me. There was no opening, no ending, and no preview for next week's episode. Which I understand why. This is like the first episode, so I get why there's no opening or ending. But I don't know. I was like really looking forward to seeing like an ending song at least. Or at least a preview, because it didn't show a preview, just like what the episode is going to be called for next week. But you know what? Aside from that, overall this was a great episode. Seeing Jotaro again was really cool, and you know what? He looks good in white, but I honestly prefer the more recent, more well-known Part 4 outfit that he will have eventually. Not sure when, but soon, I guess. And it was cool seeing his stand start platinum again. It's just that his new colors, he just looks more blue now. Again, that's something I really gotta get used to looking. One thing is sure that there might be some fans out there that might not get used to the newer art style, which is actually based on Araki's newer art style that he does later on in Part 4. Which I understand why, but again, once you get used to it, you'll definitely enjoy this part. Josuke, my first impressions on Josuke, he seems like a cool character, and I'm definitely gonna like this guy even more. I already like him now, and the thing is with him, he can be nice, kind, a bit goofy, and modest and humble, especially when, you know, like when he heard that the family was like going through chaos, he just immediately bowed down and just apologized. In fact, he didn't even like try to pick a fight with the high school bullies. Oh, it was only until like one of them insulted his hairstyle that's when he like went into this rage. And that's another thing with the Josuke, is that right off the bat he can get like really angry and pissed off, which is actually a bit of a tendency that he got with Joseph and with Tomoko. I mean, seriously, go back with Battle Tendency, like when Joseph gets pissed off by those corrupt cops and by the Nazis when they called him an idiot, he just like gets really angry. But that's also something that he got from his mother Tomoko. His stand, Crazy Diamond, is freaking badass. This is one of the coolest stands that I've seen so far, and I like how its ability is used in combat and in non-combat. So I'm still trying to like get a better understanding on its ability. I know that it can repair objects and people if they're, you know, if they're harmed or broken or hurt. But during the repairing process, he can either leave the person or object in its original state or alter it in his own way. So he can like alter shapes during a fixing process. But the scene where he like left the knife inside the guy's stomach, it makes me think that he could actually like probably fuse things in people with other things in people in some way. I'm not sure, because like the knife was in his stomach. Like he might have left it there during the fixing process or something. But again, I still have to like figure out more about Crazy Diamond's ability. But so far, it's a really awesome stand. With Koichi, I think he's a nice character so far, and I know that he's going to become a supporting character and a good friend, well, even more of a good friend with Josuke. And probably a good ally with not only him, but also with Jotaro as well. And this seems to have really confirmed my theory on Koichi, because during all that commotion with stands, Koichi had no idea what was going on. Meaning that he can't see stands yet, which would mean that he's either a stand user that hasn't awakened his latent potential, his stand yet, or he's not a stand user, but he will awaken his stand somewhere down the line. We'll just have to wait and see when he'll eventually awaken his stand. As for Angelo, this guy is really messed up. He's very creepy and he's a bit of a psycho. And you know the thing is, he's only a minor antagonist. I know he's gonna only last for like 2 episodes. And which is strange because he seems like main character material, you know, especially in Jojo. So that's got me thinking, like, if this is what a minor antagonist is like, what are the other minor antagonists going to be like in Part 4? And what is, like, Kira gonna be like, you know? It got me really curious. And it got me really looking forward to seeing more of Angelo and even seeing what's gonna happen to him in episode 2. Because, like, we know that he's gonna be defeated. I just want to know, like, how exactly. Animation and artwork was really good for the most part. But the thing is, when it comes to, like, background characters from, like, far or mid-range. It just looks kind of off to me. I'm not sure why. There's like not a lot of like detail in like the background characters, like in the far back or in like mid-range. It's not that great. Then again, I'm not an animation expert, so what do I know? But the animation used during the fight scenes and during the other scenes, like with the dialogue, it was really good. I especially like how they use the animation back in part 3 during the time stop, and they even used the sound effect again, which is nice. And I don't think you hear the fart noise, so thank goodness for that. And speaking of music again was really good. I really like the new pieces of music, and I'm looking forward to getting the Part 4 OST soundtrack. And I did appreciate David's production for reusing Jotaro's like theme in the second season of Star Crusaders. They reused that again when Star Platinum appeared, which is great. Back with the animation and artwork, I like how they use the brightness, the shading, and even the color changes, especially like during like flashback sequences and during the fight sequences. And the backgrounds, by the way, the backgrounds on Morioh Town, it looks really well done. I really like how Morioh Town was animated. Also, there were some additional scenes that I thought were like a nice touch. In this one scene where Koichi was like walking back into the crowd after like the commotion with the hostage situation, you see some characters and they're like shadowed. You don't see what they look like, but you can clearly tell that those are characters that are going to like come in later on in part 4. Like, I recognized one of them was Rohan Kishibe, and I think there was a woman, I think that was Yukako. That also was another nice touch, was the opening scene. How they like introduced Morioh Town, and you know what, you see this like residence, a woman cooking breakfast, you even hear the radio playing in this nice song, which actually seemed like a bit peaceful, and then it started getting weird with like the music, like getting like staticky and fading, and then it turns out that this woman wasn't really a woman. Well, technically you only see her arm, but it was a severed arm. And it was still bleeding, which means that this was a recent victim. And the only villain I know that has something to do with severed arms, Yoshikage Kira. David's production gave us an opening scene teasing us the main antagonist of Part 4, Yoshikage Kira. Which again, I'm really looking forward to seeing him, but we might see him in Season 2 if there is going to be a Season 2. So yeah, overall, this was a great episode, a great start getting into Part 4. So tell me guys, what do you think of the first episode of Diamond is Unbreakable? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What do you think of Josuke, Jotaro, and Koichi? And what did you think of the stands that we saw so far? And also, what did you think of Angelo and how messed up it is? And how do you think he's going to be defeated? Because we know he's going to be defeated. Personally, Josuke is awesome. I'm really liking him. His stand is freaking badass, and I wish his stand fight against Star Platinum lasted a little longer, because how awesome would it be if we got to see their rush attacks? I mean, Star Platinum's ora-da-da with crazy diamonds, do-da-da-da-da, you know? Oh, right. Another thing I forgot to mention. Actually, two things I forgot to mention. How Josuke got the nickname Jojo. I don't understand how he got it, you know? Because, like, his name is Josuke Higashikata. Where did the second Jo come from, you know? Because with the previous JoJos, we understand why they got the nickname, because the Joes were in their first and last names, not Josuke. So maybe this is something in Japanese that I don't understand, so maybe you guys can like let me know in the comments below. I'd really appreciate it. Another thing that I forgot to mention that really bugged me is the fact that Jotaro can stop time for like half a second. He can stop time for half a second, and this was his second time stopping time. Which means that ever since 10 years ago, ever since that fight he had with Dio when he stopped time, he never once used Star Platinum to stop time ever again. Why? Like, you have the ability to stop time. Imagine all the things you can do with it. And last time I checked, he stopped time for 5 seconds. And now he can only stop time for like half a second? Like, why? Does his stand get weaker the less he uses it? I don't know. Maybe Araki like weakened Star Platinum a bit so that he wouldn't make Jotaro overpowered or something. I'm not sure, but Or maybe there's a side effect to stopping time, and it was only Dio who overcame that because of his vampire abilities and his constant training on using the world. It kind of sucks that Jotaro never like stopped time ever again. Aside from that only other time he was able to use it, which happened to be the very first time he got it. It's just something that really did bug me. So yeah, that's basically it. So tell me guys your thoughts about this episode in the comment section down below. Like the video if you like it, subscribe to more videos, and be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable, episode 1. Great episode, looking forward to seeing more of it, and more bizarre adventures is gonna happen in Morioh. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna spam 27, and until next week, I'll see you guys next time. Later.